Breathing problems in Bangkok. I have experienced the choking smog in Bangkok, and could not leave the city quickly enough, after conducting business there. From December to April each year, Thailand's capital city skies becomes grey with smog and haze. On some days, Bangkok ranks as one of the top 5 cities in the world for air pollution. The air can be so contaminated that many of Bangkok's public schools have to close down to protect the children. Thailand's capital and its 10 million residents endure extreme levels of air pollution during the first 3 months of every year. There are accusations the government is not giving proper warnings about the health risks. People living in Bangkok would be wrong to think that 10 more electric train lines and Euro 5 emission standards by 2024 will reduce the number of fine dust particles in the air. This is because there are still 11 million vehicles on the streets of Bangkok. Many are old and unmaintained and pump out noxious fumes that add to the PM 2.5 haze. In the past year, over 400,000 vehicles have joined the millions already on Bangkok roads. The situation is also worsened by high-rise buildings that continue to be built across the capital. Buildings above the height of 23 meters block the flow of air needed to flush out the pollutants. So why does the smog arrive at the beginning of every new year? The first reason is the annual monsoon. At the end of November each year, moist airflow from the southwest coming from the Indian Ocean stops. This is replaced by drier air coming from the northeast of the country. This change in directional airflow patterns coincides with the annual burning season, where farmers burn off the stubble left in their fields after they have harvested their crops. Most of these farm areas are to the north and northeast of Bangkok. The drier, northeast airflow brings the smoke and haze from these burn-offs in the northeast down the country to Bangkok. The Thai government has been reticent to directly address the annual burn-off season, saying that they're going to crack down on illegal burning, but never following through with effective enforcement. It appears they are protecting large and powerful multinationals and their agricultural pursuits. The health issues. PM 2.5 dust particles measure 2.5 microns or less. These are small enough to lodge themselves in the lungs and cause long-term health problems that can be fatal. Poor air quality can irritate the eyes, nose, and throat, cause shortness of breath, aggravate asthma and other respiratory conditions, as well as damage the heart and cardiovascular system. However, the quest for clean air and easy breathing is costing Thai citizens up to 1.67 billion baht per year in masks and medical expenses. While travel restrictions and work-from-home culture during the pandemic have lowered emissions to an extent, air pollution in Thailand has still hit dangerous levels several times over the past 2 years. The solution. A long-term solution to the problem would be to subsidize proper machinery for Thailand's farmers to clear the land mechanically, rather than the cheaper option of burning the crop stubble. Districts could share the cost of the necessary machinery, with individual farmers and companies hiring the equipment when needed. Today it's easy to track all the fires, clearly identified by NASA satellites, in almost real time. Costs of air pollution. The World Bank estimates that air pollution-related healthcare expenses are equivalent to 4% of a country's GDP. Sacrificing people's health for economic growth is unacceptable. Polluters should be held responsible for the environmental and social damage they cause. A clean air bill proposal. A petition with 24,000 signatures backing the draft Clean Air Bill will be submitted to Parliament on January 21st. The draft states that people have the right to access air quality indices and transparency over the source of pollution. It also empowers officials to take action to ensure better air quality. What has the government done to date? In 2019, the cabinet approved a plan to solve the PM 2.5 problem, and added it to the national agenda. It also put in place regulations to control the level of fine dust particles, such as limiting the scope of large construction projects. It also ordered random emission checks on vehicles, while the PCD has tightened emission standards significantly. Since last October, 11,400 cars have been flagged down for emitting too much exhaust pollution. Meanwhile, the Bangkok Mass Transit Authority has replaced 489 of its air-conditioned petrol buses with NGV or natural gas vehicles. And the Department of Industrial Works now requires factories to install continuous emission monitoring systems. Conclusion. More action is needed. Air pollution should be a top priority, and media stunts such as firing water cannon into the air is not the solution. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the video to help the channel grow.